Well, guys, welcome back. This is my final segment of the With Love Megan recap containing episodes 6, 7, and 8. Grab a coffee or a cocktail or a joint, whatever you need to get through, because we're going to get through this together now. Episode 6, we start off, she's making herself some avocado toast for breakfast, and to prove what a kind human and not tyrant boss she is, she makes the producer who's filming her some coffee and a manwich. What a kind, gracious human being. Oh, and she sprinkles dead flowers all over her eggs, which is just weird to me. Producer enjoys his breakfast, but I mean, you feed a man, he's not going to refuse it. Am I right? Megan's just tickled with herself. She's very, very pleased. And we're off to do another beige, boring flower arrangement. Can you believe it? It was at this point of editing that I realized that I was not going to have the patience to thoroughly rewatch everything and narrate it out for you. I was skipping along and just kind of trying to get key moments and key pictures. And here she is using a paring knife to cut a plantain. She's going to chop some of that up and fry it up for her friends. She has more rich friends coming over to play mahjong. And she's hired a local Mexican chef to come over and teach her how to make chicken tinga. The editing in this program has made it very clear to me that they were scrambling and trying to fix things that were problematic, and they ran out of content, so they had to repeat things. It had Megan doing like nothing a lot of the time. It's not much of a show, and she talks over her guests, so even if she had an interesting guest, you don't get to hear them talk because she needs to talk over them. It happened with Roy Choi, and it happens with this guy and a few other of her guests.
One thing that I like to do is toast the herbs. We can do it oregano, we can do a little bay leaf. Do you have a little cumin?
Yes. Well, it's also easy, I think, if people don't have fresh herbs, to know that you can really activate the flavor in it by just...
If it was just a once in a while, one-off kind of situation, I wouldn't think anything of it. But it happens all the time where someone's trying to say something and she cuts them off and finishes what they're trying to say for them. I don't know if it's because she loves the sound of her own voice, or is she trying to be relatable to the person and let them know that she understands the point that they're trying to make, which is common, or is she just competing for screen time?
And I tried it and I actually liked it better.
Staff meals are always so much
Right,
better at a
it's
restaurant
better,
sometimes than when
exactly.
you actually get out at service, because
Right.
it's the feeling of community. That's what I love so much about cooking.
Lay off the snow, Megan. Let your guests speak. They have more interesting things to say than you. You can tell that this man just gives up at a certain point and just focuses on cooking, because any time that he tries to talk, she just runs her mouth over him. It must be really annoying. So before we get to see them complete the meal, we get a weird edit, more content filler, of how Megan dehydrates her citrus, because she has the privilege of having all these citrus bushes and trees on her property. She is an endless source of free citrus, and she doesn't know what to do with all of it. Hey, look, it looks like she's using a proper knife for a change. She claims to give it away, donate it to food banks, and she came up with the idea of dehydrating it to add it to a bunch of shit, like her spirits, her baths, her teas, and whatever else she decides to do with the stuff. Honestly, if you have that much free fruit, I would hope you would do something smart with it, not just waste it. Oh yeah, I lost total count of all the watch, bracelet, and ring shots, but I think you get the idea. Anytime she does something with her hands, you'll get a zoom in on the watch, bracelets, and rings. The chef keeps just giving her tasks. Oh, and then they make this wonderful looking halibut salad out of raw halibut, and then the acids from the citrus sauce ends up cooking the fish, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, anytime this chef tried to teach anything or talk about anything personal or about himself or his background, she would talk over him to basically make it about herself or acknowledge or explain it in her own way. You know what I mean? Like, what was the point of even having guests? Like, yeah, she needed chefs that were better than her to cook meals for her friends that are coming over. But usually when you have a guest on your show, you ask them engaging questions and you let them talk. I thought that's how it worked. She has her chance to take up all the camera's attention, and she doesn't know what to say. She does love the sound of her own voice, though. I'm convinced of that much.
You want to start on cocktails? Yes, please.
And the cocktails. She's Don't let me forget that. She loves those too. So allegedly at one of the premieres for the program, she had received backlash for not having more black people on her show. So I find it funny that she has her token black friend here now. They're making a bunch of I think it's margaritas. I believe it's unlabeled tequila that they're pouring into those jars with her dehydrated citrus rings. And that gave me an idea, like, is she going to get into the alcohol business? Because that was a really good opportunity for her to merch some Don Julio tequila. That's the only time I haven't seen her merch something super ridiculously fancy or expensive. It just looked like water in a pitcher. And that made me think, what if she started doing her own booze? That would be a good idea. She should probably do that if she wants to actually succeed. I hear alcohol is what makes people big money, not jams, jellies, and preserves. Just saying. Oh, yeah, and cookie mix and cake mixes. I was so frustrated when I saw on Drew Barrymore that she is going to be selling her shortbread cookie mix. Do you know how easy it is to make shortbread cookies? It's 3 ingredients. I really can't with this. So that was the fancy mahjong picnic for all the rich ladies. It's at this point where the program really feels like a marathon to me, given that I've already watched it once and I had to edit it and now I have to talk about it. We're chugging along here. So now we get to see Meghan frolicking around in her garden. I think it's her garden, not her rented garden. And she's just picking stuff for a salad and picking berries for a fresh preserve that she's making for someone. And because she's constantly using this as a platform to clap back at her critics, we get this fine gem.
What you have. We don't all have a garden like this. I fully recognize that. I didn't grow up with a garden like this.
She must have got backlash for being privileged enough to have a garden and a property that could sustain a garden. So she just wants you all to know that she understands and she didn't have this before. So I really wanted to power through this episode. Her friend Vicky comes over. She's Japanese. She was in her TIG article blog at one point, Guide to Kyoto. So Meghan wants her to teach her how to make pot stickers. And once again, we get the merching of the jewelry. Vicky ends up being more interesting than Meghan.
A little bit of condensed milk and a little bit of half and half, and added some nice vanilla bean paste. And
My only issue is just like the crying makeup artist, she's odd with everything Meghan does.
frothed it up. Oh my god! And I think you're gonna love it. I am so impressed.
Just like every other guest, they have to be amazed with everything she does. Meghan loves praise and compliments. She likes to know that she's doing a good job and that she's amazing and wonderful and perfect. And similarly to her other guests, every time that she asks her guest a question that's relatively interesting and gives them an opportunity to speak up and explain something, Meghan has to talk over them. It's so exhausting and irritating. You can see at various points these people just start grinning and bearing through it, and they're just like, okay. All right. Anyway, I love pot stickers, and I learned more from Vicky, than I did from Meghan in this entire series. I did not know about cooking them in a spiral ring formation. I always just fry them willy-nilly. And if they got all stuck together like that, I would have thought that I fucked it up. Vicky also shows her how to make sauces for the pot stickers. And I just want to mention now that this is one of my least favorite outfits that Meghan wears. It's the Ghostbusters uniform. It's the long beige crotch uniform with her pants pulled up to her boobies and her shirt tucked in. It's ridiculous.
Well, it smells so good, isn't it? And then
This is another alleged friend, but they have like the chemistry of a dead fish. It's like Meghan just makes these weird faces all the time. I don't know what it is. Is she uncomfortable? Is she awkward? Or does she really hate sharing the camera with other people?
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Nevertheless, all her guests understand the assignment. They compliment her. Everything she does is amazing,
I don't think there's
awe-inspiring.
anything to feel guilty about because we're both working moms.
That is not true. I would not classify Meghan as a working mom. That is just my opinion. So at this particular part, while Vicky's teaching how to wrap a pot sticker, which I'm actually interested in this part because I want to know how to do this, they start talking ridiculous platitudes about how when something's broken, that just makes it more beautiful and it's not damaged, it can be fixed. And the whole time I'm sitting there rolling my eyes to the back of my head thinking, is she trying to fist fuck an analogy about the royal family down everybody's throats? Because that's what it seems like to me.
Meaningful, that if you break something that is precious and valuable, it's not broken, that fracture, and you taught me this, that fracture actually makes it more beautiful, that break makes it more beautiful, and I just,
The fracture makes it more beautiful. The break makes it more beautiful.
that can be sealed and healed at this.
And it's not broken, it can be healed. Do you see what I mean? Am I crazy? Am I reaching here? Or is that what she's doing? Because that seems like that's what she's doing, and I don't like it. I don't like it when someone's trying to manipulate me. It's funny because had I watched this show knowing nothing about Meghan Markle, like had she just crawled out from under a rock, or had I wouldn't have so much of an issue with the things happening in this show. I would be more forgiving with her.
Great. Okay.
The problem is, after everything that she's done in her past, during her time in the royal family, everything she did to get to the royal family, and when she was climbing the ladder to get to where she was, and then everything she's done after leaving the royal family, it's really hard for me to not look at everything with a side eye. Oh, here she is, dipping into the booze again. She loves her bubbly. I think that's the only reason she likes to quote-unquote cook, so that she can drink. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure she would just tell her maids, go make me that, go get me that. And I have a hard time believing that she's always prancing around in her kitchen like this. Her skills, her lack of proficiency in the kitchen, make me think that she generally just orders around, if you know what I mean. So we needed another content filler segment, so she teaches us how to make chili oil. This is the most ridiculous one since the balloon one, I think. Believe it or not, guys, you take peppers, garlic, and chilies, and you soak them in oil that's been boiling and soaking the various chilies and spices. So everyone likes to make fun of Meghan for being behind the times because now she's latching on to this whole ASMR thing with her show. ASMR is like so 2018. She never comes up with her own thing, or she's never ahead of the wave. She's always behind the times. I feel sorry for her on that one. But hey, if you want to go with that, go with it. You do what you want. I really don't care. So this next up cringeworthy scene demonstrates these two's lack of ability to work together. Meghan's job is to hold the plate, and Vicky's job is to flip the pan. The pan is heavy, and the plate is heavy, and they cannot move synchronized together. Meghan keeps grabbing the pan handle and not doing her job holding the plate, so the pot stickers end up flying all over the place. Good job, Meghan, because you had to be controlling, you fucked it up. You would be fired working in a real kitchen. Meghan's just like, derp. I don't think she likes fucking up on camera. She looks really upset about this. Vicky just runs over to grab a utensil that they can flip it back over onto the plate. Afterwards, they finally enjoy some pot stickers. I don't think Meghan makes them chop up a whole new crudité board before they actually get to enjoy their meal. Oh wow, we get seal clap and dance at the same time. But wait, before they actually sit down to eat, Meghan's got the best idea. She just throws a bunch of Duchess confetti all over it. I don't even know what that is. I'm just gonna call it Duchess confetti. I have no idea what that is. Oh, and because this episode just won't freaking end and it wants me to bash my head into the wall, now they're mixing a bunch of herbs into a paste for beauty products. And because she was already eviscerated for how she managed the bath salts, I wonder how this is going to play out. Apparently this lady works in a lab, so she does have a clue about what she's doing, but we know Meghan doesn't. So I don't know what to make from that. I would listen to this lady, but not Meghan. Apparently, if you just dump a bunch of arnica oil and a bunch of essential oils into your bath salts, you could burn your skin or get a rash. This next scene, Vicky's trying to tell this dramatic story about her experience with her night care routine and washing away her stresses while she cleanses herself. And she can't even finish saying it. Meghan has to take over and say it all for her.
And even that 1 minute of self-care, as opposed to just washing my face, like, no, let me really, I'm nurturing myself, I'm caring for my skin, and really creating that as part of your daily practice to start and end the day, as opposed to just going through motions. Totally.
This is so annoying because it's not the first time Meghan's done this. She loves to answer people's questions for them. So then they have nothing to say. They're left with nothing left to say because she says everything for them. And merching her jewelry too while she's at it. It's so irritating. Super cheesy. She's got like $500,000 worth of jewelry just on one arm. She never takes off the 3 pieces. She'll add more on, but the main 3 will always be there no matter what she's doing. I wonder if she like cleans them properly. So that was painful, but not as painful as this last episode is going to be. We're finally at it, you guys. Oh, and I thought this was going to be it, but it turns out that Netflix was able to milk a second season out of all this content. Can you believe that? I'm astonished because there was hardly any content to begin with. I can literally pick up where they had to shoot new things, they had to record new things to fill up time because stuff got cut. Stuff that was problematic, that didn't go well at the test screenings, got cut. So they had to fill up more time. They had to squeeze out more content out of a nothing burger of content to begin with. So she's preparing her brunch, her celebrating herself brunch, and everyone who's important to her. Not her father, not her sister, not her brother, not her in-laws. None of them, but yeah, her mom and a few other friends of hers will arrive for her brunch that she worked so hard on. Even Harry, who couldn't be bothered to actually be in any other parts of the program, he'll show up right at the very end for a drink. Meghan merging all her fancy jewelry and apothecary and jars and cookware and dishes and knives, pottery stuff and gardening stuff, and her outfits and really nice looking food like organic, farm fresh ingredients. It's been visually pleasing, but it's definitely not been relatable. Especially all the citrus trees and, wealth.
I used to teach gift wrapping class when I was an auditioning actor.
Oh God, because they had to fill up some content here, she's going to teach us how to wrap presents. But she doesn't actually teach us shit. She just shows us that you fold a crease that's 1 inch from the edge and you use double-sided tape. And love is in the details, otherwise you don't love them. My grandma was like that too with wrapping paper. She was very, very serious about it. I just can't stop looking at all the gold. I'm not even paying attention to the wrapping paper. And what boring wrapping paper. Everything this woman picks regarding color is so boring. Even the wrapping paper for the presents she picks is boring. Gold and white. You're supposed to pick something that the person, the recipient would like, not something you would like. Anyway, I hate this part so much. Alice Waters shows up. She's this weird vegan chef that Anthony Bourdain hated. He said that she was just a piece of shit all around, and I don't know what the details are on that, but Meghan's nose is so far up this woman's butthole. It's disgusting. Like, she's like in complete awe of everything this woman does, similar to how everyone's been in awe of everything Meghan's done the whole time. I guarantee you Meghan didn't treat Her Majesty the Queen as good as she's treating this Alice Waters. Alice, just like Meghan, talks a bunch of word salad nonsense, and Meghan's she's here for it. She's preaching to the choir, so that makes sense on why she's in so much awe of her.
It's like printing your own money.
Having a garden is like printing your own money. Yes, what a wonderful platitude. Meghan is just so happy to be in this woman's presence. She would eat her shit, I guarantee you. Kind of like Ellen. Kind of like how when Ellen would tell her to do anything, including humiliate herself, she did. I get that vibe. I don't know what Meghan's deal is. You know she didn't treat her in-laws this good. 1 minute she says she doesn't like turnips, and the next minute she does.
I like sweet. So often I've said, I just don't really love turnips. How many times can you roast a turnip? And now in this moment, right? I do. And I love it. It is sweet and a little peppery.
So I thought Alice was here to help her cook, but it seems like what ends up happening is they just pick stuff out of the garden, lettuce mostly for the salad. Alice stands there and watches Meghan make a quiche and talk about herself, and then she teaches her how to make a very simple vinaigrette. I really don't get what she was here for. Fucking weirdo. She's a tree hugger.
Garden. People would watch this and go, okay, but I don't have all this space at home.
So Meghan's got to clap back to her critics once again, people who said that she was privileged for having, the property to have a garden. And this lady is just as out of touch as she is, talking about how you can have a garden anywhere, on your windowsill, on the roof of your house. Some people don't even have a roof of a house, lady.
I've never seen anyone do that before.
So just like how everyone who visited Meghan prior was in awe of everything she did, like it was so amazing, Meghan's in awe of everything this woman does, like it's so amazing. She's never seen anyone wrap up lettuce and dry it before. Isn't that amazing? Oh, and this part is hilarious and rich. Megan's guide to having amazing farm fresh eggs with super rich yolk. Trust me, she loves that yolk. She's fascinated by it. Every time she cracks an egg, she can't get over the color of the yolk. And she lets us and her guests know. Is to have this giant, pristine chicken coop and make sure you feed your chickens farm fresh scraps from your compost bin in an ice bowl. And then like that coop is beautiful. I've taken care of chickens in a coop before. I don't see any shit anywhere. Someone came in here and cleaned out all the bird shit before Megan set foot in there with her little Crocs and her little outfit and her hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry on her arm. Doesn't Alice look like she's having so much fun? But don't worry, Megan's gonna crack into the booze. That should save it. And I think there was talk of her actually making her own rosé, so I wonder if this is it.
So we're just going to put the egg and cream mixture and then the tomatoes go right on top?
I think so.
Yeah, it seems like Alice doesn't actually teach her how to bake or cook anything. She just stands there and watches how Megan does it. And Megan's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Should I do this? Should I do that? And Alice just stands there drinking like, yeah, I guess so. And then when they make a salad, it's literally just lettuce and kale leaves, I'm pretty sure. Like, it's not even like butter lettuce or anything fancy. I think it's just pieces of romaine and some kale. And then she makes this vinaigrette out of, I believe it was lemon juice, olive oil, garlic. I didn't see any other spices or anything else or any fruit go into it. So, I mean, did Megan really need this woman to come over and teach her how to do that? Put some rosemary on top of a quiche? Okay, but they're both stoked about it. They're not mad about it. They're enjoying their vegan meal. I found this interaction to be awkward and cold and really weird. Like, Megan was brown-nosing really hard, but Alice was super chilly reception. It was very strange. I heard that behind the scenes it was not good between those two. Alice is a diva as well as Megan, so apparently there was some tension about how Megan wasn't cooking and just wanted to do her hair and makeup and probably drink. I don't know if that's true or not, that's all alleged. In another content scraping filler scene, Megan is designing the menu for her brunch. Because, you don't want to have to talk to your guests and tell them what's in the food. Just put labels for everything. Make a menu. She's crappily chopping more veggies with a paring knife, but I actually really like the dress that she's in. I don't like the belt, but she needs to make it look like she has a waist, I guess. But that is a pretty dress in my opinion. I would like to float around in my beautiful country kitchen on a hot summer day preparing a brunch for everyone I care for in an outfit like that in over $500,000 worth of jewelry on one arm. In this scene, she shows us how she makes carrots 2 ways and carrot top pesto, which I did not know was a thing, and I'm not going to believe it's a thing until I look it up. The next scene that pisses me off is she's making shortbread cookies with dead flowers and sugar sprinkled all over them. Shortbread cookies are some of the easiest cookies to make. There's 3 ingredients, and she's still found a way to fuck this up and make it more complicated and ruin it. While it does look darling, as she would say, I don't think kids would appreciate dead flowers on their food. Unless it actually tastes like candy or sugar or something, I could see my kids just like rubbing it or picking it off. And you know that those little tins she's selling of her edible dried flowers is probably like $30 for like 100 grams or something like that. Like, I'm probably off a little bit, but you know what I mean, right? Like, just ridiculous luxury that people don't need and can't afford. Oh, and here she's making crepes because crepes are so much better than pancakes, and she uses her fruit preserve as a topping. Gotta get more merch shots of the jewelry. It's really ridiculous. If someone had started a drinking game for this, they would be dead by now, so maybe don't do that. And she really wants us to see her evil eye bracelet, which is super annoying. For those of you who don't know, the evil eye of Fatima is a Turkish, it's like a bad luck, good luck charm. It's supposed to protect you from haters, and ill will and intentions are supposed to be shot back at the person who has ill feelings towards you. You know what I mean? So I find that very funny that she's wearing that. This whole show has been a platform for her to clap back at her critics, try to rebrand and reinvent herself, launch her business, and this season was a trailer for next season, season 2. Oh, Meghan's getting the booze ready for everyone. Here comes Harry. Gave his wife a quick peck, then he's got to get the hell away from her. He'd rather hug the guests. Here comes Doria. She looks absolutely miserable, but then again, so does Meghan. Why are you so miserable, Meghan? You got a mimosa in your hand. Jeez, you're celebrating yourself? This should be a happy event for you. So what do you guys think? Did Meghan cut this crudité board up herself, or did she just screw around a little bit and then get the staff to do the rest?
Yes, I will.
Have a mimosa, Harry. You're gonna need it. You've earned it, buddy. Go ahead. I don't know if I have it in me to recap it again, unless everyone wants me to. If this was a valuable thing for everyone, then sure, I'll do it again. I mean, I'll probably watch it just because. Look at that alarmingly balding head. But yeah, I don't know if I would recap it unless people actually wanted me to, or wanted or cared, because this was work. It was one thing to watch it, but it was another thing to actually have to sit down and edit it and talk about it. Yeah, so we're at the end, guys. Meghan cheerses herself for her new business and her new chapter, and we all know how this is going. Thank you so much for tuning in for this. I really appreciate all the views and the comments. You guys are fantastic. I'm going to be doing a fashion edition from this special, talking about my favorite and least favorite outfits and why. And yeah, let me know if you want me to do season 2. Hopefully there's lots of time for a break. This was Rust Reality Recaps. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.